Hello friends, it is Stasia and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about Colleen Hoover. She's a very popular author, either very loved or, you know, not for everyone, which is totally fine. I am on the side where I mostly love her. And as of right now, I've only read 8 of her books, but I feel like that's enough where I can make a video. So anyways, I own only 5 of the books that I've read. So the other 3 I either read on like Kindle or KU or something like that. So we're gonna go over the books that I've read by Colleen Hoover, and we're going to discuss them in the order from my least favorite to my favorite that I read from her. You know, I could have some unpopular opinions, that's fine, but it is what it is. As of right now, I only have one Colleen Hoover that I have not read yet, and that is Hopeless. I've put this on many TBRs and just never seem to get to them, but I am hoping to get to them at least soon. I am hoping to try to get through some of Colleen Hoover's backlist in the new year, but we'll need to see how that goes. So as of right now, Hopeless is the only one that I physically own and have not read. So let's go into my ranking. So as of right now, number 8, the least favorite Colleen Hoover that I've read was Layla. This one wasn't really for me. But let's take this all with a grain of salt because I'm pretty sure that this is my least favorite and I still rated it like 3 or 4 stars. So nothing was like super bad for me. But anyways, this is a paranormal romance. It was just pretty weird to me. I didn't super love it for some reason, but it follows Leeds and Layla. They meet, fall in love, blah blah blah. They start to feel a bit distant from each other after some events, so they end up going to a B&B where they first meet, or where they first met, and things just kind of get weird. This one just wasn't for me. I didn't super love the plot. Like I said, I thought a lot of it was weird. I don't think I really reach for paranormal anyways, but with Colleen Hoover I usually go in knowing little to nothing about it, so just picked it up on a whim, and yeah, it wasn't my favorite, but that's fine. And then at number 7, which might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but that's fine, but I have Ugly Love. This is about Miles and Tate. This is kind of like a casual sort of relationship. Didn't really care. This book was, I think this is the most toxic happily ever after, or like toxic relationship in my opinion. She does write more realistic problematic relationships, which is fine, but this one just wasn't necessarily my favorite. This one also wasn't like super memorable for me. I also knew that there's also like chapters in here that were a bit weird and I could have done without. So this is gonna be number 7 for me. At number 6, I have Heartbones. Heartbones was a nice story. Heartbones follows our 2 main characters who I don't know their names because I don't have the book, so it's fine. But this follows a story about our main girl who something happens with her mom. In the very beginning, her mom's an addict, so she has to go live with her dad, but with that, her dad kind of already has like a new wife and another daughter, so she goes to live with them, not really knowing what to expect from this situation, but her stepsister ends up actually being really nice. That's one of the things I do love about this book, is the sister bond relationship that forms. Love that. But then she meets a guy, obviously it's a romance. She meets a guy who isn't really putting the entire truth of him out there. I thought this was a very sweet story. I loved it. This one definitely tugged on the heartstrings with the entire situation that they're both in, and I felt like this one kind of went a little bit more than just the relationship, with the whole family aspect and our main character dealing with the loss of a parent, but also trying to adjust herself to live with her dad. It was just a fun time. I really enjoyed that one. And then at number 5, we have It Ends With Us. This is a very popular one. I read it years ago, but it was honestly a great one. I do still need to read the second book. It Starts With Us. Didn't get that one yet, but it's fine. This follows our main girl, Lily, as she's trying to break this cycle that she finds herself in. She gets into a relationship with a man named Ryle, but he doesn't necessarily seem to be as she thought he was. Their romance is kind of a whirlwind, and then she realizes, hey, maybe this guy's not as nice as I thought he was. So it mainly follows Lily. This book follows Lily as she tries to figure out more about herself and get herself out of this relationship that is not good for her by breaking this cycle, by thinking like you need to stay in this relationship. Or obviously abusive relationships are very hard to get out of when they're manipulative and things like that. So it follows her and her journey of growth. Really, really loved it. Do need to read the next book. Then at number 4 is one that I don't see as often, but I actually really loved, and that is Confess. I really love this book. This follows Auburn and Owen. So Auburn moves to Texas, I believe it's Texas, where she's just trying to get on her feet. She has a situation and a reason for her to be in Texas, but it's not the ideal place she wants to be. It makes sense, but I don't want to spoil anything. So yeah, so she finds herself in Texas, not making a whole lot of money, just trying to get by and make things work for herself. And then one day she passes an art studio with a help wanted sign on it, and Owen is the one who owns the art studio. So she ends up going in, getting hired for the night. Like, he needs like an assistant type of thing because he's an artist and he has a show, so like someone to check out people as they buy art and like take their address to get the art delivered, things like that. So it follows them as their relationship progresses, and it also follows Auburn as she has a lot of life situations that she's trying to figure out. Owen finds himself in situations that aren't really ideal. Some of them are keeping secrets. It's a great time. Yeah, really, really enjoyed it. I think one of the things that I loved most about this is that the like art situation that Owen does, I just thought was so cool. So Owen basically is an artist who has like a box where people can anonymously submit like confess, and he creates a piece of art based off of that confession, and I love that concept. It was a great time. So it's number 4. My 2 and 3 are pretty interchangeable. I like them both. So I would just say that right now my number 3 is November 9. I know that this one is super problematic. I know a lot of people don't like this one, but I love this one. I thought it was so much fun. I literally have an entire vlog from a couple years ago reading this book on November 9th because such an original idea. So I'll leave that above and below if you are interested in watching that. But as for this book, this follows Ben and Fallon. And they meet one day on November 9th, but on that day Fallon is also set to move to the other coast. So it's her last day in LA. She meets Ben. They seem to get along really well. They have a lot in common, you know, things like that. But Fallon is not putting her plans on hold. She's like, I'm already ready to move to a new state. So that's just what it's gonna be. Before that though, they end up making a pact that every year on November 9th, they will meet. So Fallon will come back to LA, or Ben will go visit Fallon, and just for that day, they will be together. But in between each day, you can do whatever you want. There's no communication between them. And I just thought that this was just such a fun time. This book has a lot of drama, very twisty, but thoroughly enjoyed. So my number 2 is Reminders of Him. I really like this one. This one is more of a tragic story of a mother trying to figure her life out. So this follows our main girl. I think her name is Kenna, but I could be wrong. I have no clue. But she had an accident, so she ended up in jail for a little bit. And at the start of this book, she's just getting out of jail, trying to figure out her life. And she also has a daughter out there that she gave birth to while she was in jail, but now the daughter is with her grandparents. So our main character is trying to build a relationship with her daughter after not ever really knowing her, but there's a lot of backstory that comes into play within all sides. But there is a friend across the street who grew up with her daughter, so she's also trying to become his friend to see, you know, like get to know her daughter a little bit more. Her daughter's obviously more comfortable with him. So yeah, I don't think I'm explaining this well, and it's very hard to explain things when you don't know the characters' names. But all in all, I really enjoyed this one. I thought that this one had a lot of depth, a lot of layers, a lot of feelings to this book. I read through it really quick. It made me tear up. It was honestly a great time. I would do it all over again. I do really need to get that book physically because I loved it. But yeah, so that would probably be my second one right now. And then my first book comes as no surprise, but it is Verity. This is a psychological thriller, which is very ironic that this is my first and her other thriller was my last. But so Verity follows our main character, Lowen. I believe her name is Lowen, and she is hired to ghostwrite for an author named Verity, because Verity is not able to continue this like series right now. So Lowen ends up going to Verity's house to try to find any sort of template that she had going to continue the series. So she ends up reading through things in her office, and things just get weird. Lowen doesn't know what to believe, but on top of all of this, there's also a guy, Jeremy, who is helping Lowen try to figure things out because he is Verity's husband, or was. I'm pretty sure they're still married. But yeah, so Jeremy's trying to help Lowen. Lowen's trying to figure out all she can to continue this series, but things get weird. This is a very much like a you don't know what to believe. The ending is very ambiguous. You can kind of choose which side you're on, and that is like a really big thing in like the Colleen Hoover fan base, is which team you're on after reading Verity. I do know that she has re-released Verity with exclusive content, like a bonus chapter or 2, maybe 3, I don't know. But I have not read that, so I'm not sure if that would change my perspective on the book, but I have not read that yet. So as of now, Verity is my number 1. I absolutely love that book. That book messed me up. It kept me on my toes. I could not stop reading it. It was honestly just such a fun time. So with that being said, those are all of the Colleen Hoover books that I've read so far, ranked from my least favorites up to my favorite. I am hoping to get to more of her backlist soon, as the new years start rolling around. Yes, so if you read any Colleen Hoover, let me know which your favorites, which your least favorites are. I respect all opinions. But yeah, so you can like, comment, and subscribe down below if you'd like. All of my socials to follow me anywhere else are in the description as always. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!